topic right now, and the box office of 2025. So we're officially almost out of the first quarter, and to be honest, we just it just didn't do as well as it could have. I mean, there's a lot of really solid movies out, you know, like Mickey 17. I think is pretty cool. Um, Novocaine looks awesome. I plan on seeing that later tonight. Then you have movies like, The Day the Earth Blew Up, which I just recently reviewed. You have films like Black Bag, which I saw, which I thought was really cool. Um, I mean, Captain America isn't like a great film. I think it's pretty solid. I mean, there are some dumb things about it, but it isn't awful. I think it's been review bombed to hell for no reason. But it's made, close to 400 million, maybe just made that, which is fine. I mean, but at the same time, it's bad because we're in a state of an issue where like there's a lot of original IPs here, some movies based off things we've known, and then there's like a Marvel movie, and it's the first quarter, and none of these movies are like terrible. Well, Snow White's out, and apparently it's god awful, and that didn't surprise me. It didn't look particularly great, but again. So, I guess their dependency on Snow White to fix the box office is bad considering the controversy around the film, the stressed out apparently Gal Gadot's going through because she hates the controversy around the film, and the fact that a lot of people just really don't like Rachel Zegler is, also going to hurt the movie to a degree, but not completely. I think Snow White's still going to do fairly solid in the box office, all things considered, but the box office in the first quarter doesn't look good. Now, what we do know is that the box office in the coming quarters could easily rebound itself. And I want to know what's going on because, like, in the first quarter, we had some solid setups, but maybe to just kind of have the box office kind of stroll along till quarter two and then quarter two blows up. But unfortunately, quarter one didn't do that. If anything, the box office is projected lower, even though they projected the box office of 2025 to be 8% higher than 2024. But based off quarter one, that's kind of hard now. But we'll see because there's a potentially lot of crazy box office juggernauts coming out within the next couple of weeks, even months. So I'm excited to explain this because it's good to know like the list of movies coming out that could do the box office a lot of justice. And the first one coming up in April is a Minecraft movie. I mean, it's a dumb looking film, but let's be honest here, it could easily do well in the box office just because all those Minecraft kids out there. Minecraft has got to be the biggest internet game, right? I mean, I've never played it. I never cared to play it, but I know it's really popular. And Jack Black has made a solid recent living off of just being in video game movies. I mean, the Mario Brothers movie being Bowser, and look how big that was in the box office. I can only imagine the sequel next year is going to do the same. And now this Minecraft movie has a good chance to do really well in the box office. Let's be completely honest here. We're going to be honest. There's a movie I'm excited for. It's not my favorite movie coming out in April, but it's what I'm excited for is The Amateur because Rami Malek is awesome. And I hope that movie does better in the box office than it's looking. Like I don't see too many people interested in it, but it does look really cool. Alex Garland's Warfare. This guy's everywhere right now. You have the one that I'm most excited for in April is Sinners with Michael B. Jordan and Haley Steinfeld. I think they're both very talented leads for a movie. I also love Ryan Coogler as a director, and he's shown that he can pull people to the box office. He's got Creed, he's got the two Black Panther movies. Fruitvale Station's a solid film. I think Ryan Coogler's got what it takes to like bring a big box office to an original IP like this. I mean, it's his idea, I think, and it looks like its own thing. It looks beautifully shot. It looks well set. Michael B. Jordan's kind of stepping out of his comfort zone, but still being Michael B. Jordan somehow. Whatever. I wish this wasn't in the trailer, but Haley Steinfeld looks like she might be really cool as well. If you didn't see the trailer, I'm not going to reveal what's in it, but we'll see. You have The Accountant 2, which is a sequel, but I mean, Ben Affleck is awesome. I don't think he's directing this, but he is cool. And it does look noticeably different. And I do love John Bernthal. I have a soft spot for him. So there's that. And then there's the Until Dawn movie. So we have two video game movies based off of very popular games coming out in April. So, I mean, even if they don't do like hundreds of millions in profit or revenue, they're still likely to do pretty well. The trailers, okay, the Minecraft trailer was awful, but the Until Dawn trailer is actually pretty cool. So we'll see what happens here. But May is always big, just with Only really five movies that stood out to me, but like the Thunderbolts, I mean, it may seem like one of those movies that might not do well in the box office, but you never know with Marvel. Because, like, let's be honest, when Guardians 1 came out, I was like, this movie looks like it's going to just be stupid as hell and it's not going to do well. No, it did extremely well in the box office. Final Destination Bloodlines, I mean, the second one left a generation, mine, completely traumatized from driving on a road behind a log. So, Final Destination, Bloodlines, and horror movies do always tend to do fairly well. They're convenient for box office revenue for studios. So honestly, yeah, I think Final Destination, Bloodlines is fine. The one I'm concerned about is Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning. The only reason why I'm concerned about that is it is going to be going up against Thunderbolts, Final Destination, weirdly enough, Lilo and Stitch, which was my next thing to come out, they're coming out the same day. And once you got to take your kids to the movie, you're not gonna go see Mission Impossible. You know what I'm saying? So I'm hoping, and apparently Mission Impossible is apparently on a $400 million budget. God, I hope that's wrong. I hope there's something that cuts that down. But if it's on a $400 million budget, I really want this to do well because I was so upset when Dead Reckoning didn't, and now I'm looking forward to the Final Reckoning. It looks awesome. It looks like a great final send off for Tom Cruise. That alone could get people to go see the film. Now back to what I just mentioned. The pre-mentioned Lilo and Stitch, a live action movie that looks pretty solid. It looks pretty solid for a Disney live action film, and fans seem to be excited about it. We'll see what happens with that. It is a Disney film, and Disney movies, good or bad, tend to do pretty well in the box office, unless you're like Strange World. But other than that, there's Lilo and Stitch, and Lilo and Stitch is one of the most popular 2000s Disney movies. So we'll see what happens. Karate Kid Legends, coming right off of the end of Cobra Kai, given how popular Cobra Kai is, and it does take place after the events of the series. I think Karate Kid Legends actually has a pretty good shot at doing pretty well at the box office. It's not going to be, like I said, it's never going to do like Marvel movie numbers, but it could still do it well enough. I say around like Alien Romulus, It Ends With Us numbers, just based off of that. But I mean, we'll have to see. But like I said, the box office has got a lot of potential. And then we're into June, and that's the last month in quarter two, I believe. So now we're on Ballerina, which is the one I am most excited for June. Is Ballerina. I'm so ready to go see that. I'm definitely going in IMAX if possible. I'm definitely trying to go opening night if possible. I'm trying to see this movie, and I'm willing to go through lengths to do it because I think this looks just so cool. I think a lot of people like John Wick 4, a lot of people like the John Wick films in general. I think this movie is going to be worth a watch, and if it ends up not being worth a watch, I'll still say I gave it a chance. The How to Train Your Dragon real life release, it could do well. I mean, it looks spot on from the first movie, and it has a fan base that people love. So we'll go with that. It's another live action of a kids movie, but the live actions do well for some reason. Now here's one that I'm iffy about only because it's rare. I mean, thank God for rom coms because, like, Anyone But You kind of came out and it did really well at the box office. We're not going to say why, but we know why. And now we're here with this one, and this one looks different but still pretty cool. With I think it's like Dakota Johnson, Chris Evans, and Pedro Pascal because he has to be everywhere now. The Materialist, and it's a rom com. It's like a romantic comedy, maybe a little bit of dramedy in there, and it looks really cool. And I'm like, just to say I saw a rom com in theaters in the 2020s because I didn't get to see Anyone But You, but I wanted to. I think I'm willing to give this one a shot. Pixar, right off of their success from Inside Out 2 last year, which my God, Elio, and who knows? It's an original idea from them. It's been a while since I got one of those. So we'll see how Ilio does. 28 years later looks cool. And if that doesn't do well in the box office, I'd be surprised because it looks really cool. F1, the next Joseph Krasinski movie off of Top Gun Maverick, I think that's got a shot to do pretty well in the box office. I mean, it all depends on if I get a damn trailer for it. I haven't seen one. Megan 2.0. Again, horror movies are convenient and they're cheap to make, but I know Megan is actually surprisingly good. I didn't see it, but I know it's apparently surprisingly clever, and that would like end That would like end quarter two, actually, weirdly enough, because there's four quarters in the box office, I believe. So that would end quarter two. And now we go into quarter three, where July is probably just going to be a damn dependent on the box office going forward, and probably just it, because you have Jurassic World Rebirth, Superman, and Fantastic Four all dropping within like weeks of each other. That is going to be insane. And the biggest problem that I have is all the Jurassic World movies have done well in the box office. So I have no concern that Jurassic World Rebirth will do well. The problem is, what if it's bad? But I love Gareth Edwards, and visually he's incredible. So it's like, man, what do I feel about this movie? Is it going to do well in the box office? Potentially, yeah, it's going to do really well in the box office. Is it going to be good? There isn't a guarantee. And that's the reality. Now having ScarJo and Mahershala Ali and all them leading the movie, oh, that's a great cast. Gareth Edwards, cool director. He likes to film visually. I know this movie is surprisingly expensive for him too. He doesn't seem to like to do expensive, but doing these movies tend to be expensive. And I'm excited to see how he does with it. I mean, it's another Jurassic World film, so I'm not super jazzed. I know people will be, just because the Jurassic Park movies have a massive following. Clearly, they all do well in the box office. Superman, I love James Gunn, and I think a lot of people have come around to love James Gunn. I'm concerned about, obvious reasons like toxic fan bases of another guy who doesn't understand the character. But it looks like it has more of that Superman feel than the original Superman that we got 10 years ago ever did. And James Gunn does do well at the box office outside of the Suicide Squad, but we can blame COVID for that. I think the Suicide Squad, if it didn't get dropped on HBO Max when it was released in theaters, I think the Suicide Squad would have done pretty well at the box office. It's just that it got dropped on HBO Max for free. They didn't make nobody pay for the Suicide Squad. The Fantastic Four. Third time around, there's been at least one a decade since the 2000s, since the 90s actually. So this is the fourth time actually, where maybe fourth time's the charm. Maybe. I mean, it looks great visually. It looks good. It's exactly how I pictured they were going to go with it, with like a cool futuristic 60s style. And again, there's Pedro Pascal. I don't think he was a good choice for Reed, even if he ends up being good. I just think there were so many other options out there. And those are honestly the big three, and the obvious big three from July. Then there's like the I Know What You Did Last Summer sequel, which I guess I didn't even think that was ever going to happen. And then Happy Gilmore too, which people like Happy Gilmore. And there's a comedy movie getting released in theaters, and people like Adam Sandler. And that's just about it. And the only movie that caught my eye from August, which that's when the box office tends to die down, is Nobody 2, which, by the way, I really regret not seeing Nobody in theaters. I wanted to and just never found the time. But now that I know this is coming out in theaters, I'm like jazzed. Like, I loved the first Nobody, so now that Nobody 2 is happening, I'm like, bruh, I'm in there. Yeah, I'm in there, bro. And I hope this does better in the box office than the first one did. I really do. With it being the only potentially bomb movie coming out in August, there's a good chance. Now, September, another one where only one movie kind of caught my eye is One Battle After Another. This is the end of quarter three, by the way. With It's like Paul Thomas Anderson's next movie with like DiCaprio and some other people. And unfortunately, September is not a good time at the box office. It's just not a good time unless you're Denzel with The Equalizer or something. But this movie right here could be pretty solid. I mean, if it's the only movie in the theaters, I mean, it could just be the one movie that does well. But those type of movies do well with people who like those type of movies, but not everyone's running to the big screen to see that. But then October has a weird, because like there's the Michael Jackson biopic, which I'm personally gonna go see, and this begins quarter four, right? So we have Michael, Tron, Ares, and Mortal Kombat 2. I'm most excited for that Michael Jackson biopic. I have to see that. I think it's directed by Anton Fuqua, speaking of The Equalizer. And it took so long, but now it's finally here. And I hope this does Bohemian Rhapsody numbers. am so in the middle because it easily could, but it could easily could not if it ends up being bad. Tron Ares, I know a lot of people are excited for that. I mean, it could be great. I hope it is for those people who love Tron. I wasn't super big on Tron Legacy. It's kind of like the iPhone of like sequels to me. So I don't know, like it's fine, I guess. And then you have Mortal Kombat 2, which dumb action, nostalgia fun is always a box office draw. So that Mortal Kombat movie is gonna do well. Not crazy because, like I said, September and October are not particularly big months for box office. And then after last year's November box office, we have another potentially big November with Predator Badlands, which I'm excited that's getting released in theaters. I'm very excited about that because Prey was pretty cool. The Running Man, which I will be seeing because it's going to be closer to the book. I love Glenn Powell, and Edgar Wright is just a good director. So that's going to be a big deal. I hope it's a bigger deal, but I mean, I'm not holding my breath. I mean, I love Baby Driver and like was it last night in Soho. Some of that was pretty cool. But like Edgar Wright's movies are cool, but they never like blow the box office out of the water. Unfortunately, I'm still wondering what would Ant Man have been like if he stayed on. Now You See Me 3, which surprises me because Now You See Me 2 didn't seem that great, but it wasn't like bad. But like I love the first one, and two's fine. There's like the one really cool scene with the card, but other than that, we'll see what happens. Absolute box office blowout. Wicked for Good. Wicked for Good is going to do really well. A lot of people loved it. It was nominated for Academy Awards. Sonia Rivera and Grande were nominated for actress and supporting actress. I bet your bottom dollar Wicked for Good might break 1 billion. And that's a good thing. We want that. I mean, if it's as good as Wicked was, then yeah, I would love it to do that because that's the kind of movie that should definitely make good money. And we want to see more stuff like that. Like a nice classical, over the top musical, but it's fun, it's riveting. The performances are good, the sets are beautiful, the dancing, the singing, it's all great. So I'm good for a Wicked for Good and Zootopia 2. So November is going to be another year where I think we might have another box office like juggernaut explosion like we did with Moana, Wicked, and Gladiator 2. It's interesting to me that they went with this lineup. This November lineup is wild. And then, these two movies alone in December could keep the box office going for a while. It is Five Nights at Freddy's, the sequel, and Avatar Fire and Ash. It's a James Cameron movie, everyone. Never, ever doubt James Cameron at the box office. Ever. Because this man is a box office god. For some reason, James Cameron putting out a movie means the movie's going to just destroy the box office and it's not even close. So have fun with that. Have fun with that. Have fun with that. Have fun with that. But that's it. That's the end of quarter 4. So we have a really stacked year. I mean, I didn't say every movie. I just said movies that seem like they're going to do well at the box office or have the potential to. And the box office is going through hell right now. And come April, we'll be in quarter 2. We'll be in the upswing of the box office. The spring weather, summer's around the corner. Blockbuster season is imminent around April now. It used to be May, but now it's April. So I guess like April to July, and it's an interesting year. I hope the box office does well. I want the box office to do good. I hope it actually does do better, about 8% of last year's box office. I would like to see more IPs, even if they haven't done the best right now. I would love to see more IPs because I think they're needed. Um, a little more variation, like more comedy, more horror, some more really interesting animated movies like Flow or The Wild Robot. We need these things. I think these things are necessary to bring the box office back to some kind of heights. And this video is almost 20 minutes. Goddamn. So yeah, I have hopes for box office 2025. I would like it to do big numbers, like real big numbers, and we'll just have to see what that happens, what that's in store for. And with that being said, you tuned in with Let's Talk Reviews. I hope this video suits you well. If you want some more, like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see y'all on the next one.